Here we are again. Greetings, everyone, fellow Fatacasters and hello, chaps, and all of that sort of stuff. How the devil are you? Hope you're warmer than Redcar. That's all I can say. Mind you, I've not had it bad today. I've been sat pretty much hugging the fan heater all day. My poor missus has been out on the market flogging jewellery. Yes. It's a good drinking day, is what I would. Good drinking weather. Cheers, everyone. Still on the nursery beer, the 3% Carlsberg. It is something of a kind of deliberate ploy, really, not just because it's cheap. I just want to kind of get my taste buds used to it, and that being the new normal, so that when Christmas arrives, tick-tock, it's happening soon. And I'm going to be cracking open my first can at an ungodly hour of the morning. I've learned through past experience that you don't want to be on the strong beer from early on because, you're completely messed up by about lunchtime. And I've got a live stream to do on Christmas Day at lunchtime. So, yes, probably best to just kind of get me taste buds used to the week stuff. Anyway, how are you doing, everyone? Let's have a look, see who's in. And more importantly, let's see whose teacher's pet first through the door. Oh, Rent to Kill reclaims his crown. Been a while, mate. And then we've got Dave Fiendish and PFY Guitars. And Pablo Hank is there. Who else we got? Peter Collins, Ben Allmark, Amadeus, Boulder 64 is in. And so is Ingrid. And, excuse me, Vincent Brennan, no less. We got Mark Kerno, Paul Trainer, BSC, and let's scroll down. Bev Doyle and his digital litter, the artist formerly known as Theme Tunes. And there is Theme Tunes. There, just a little bit. You signed in on 2 accounts there, mate. We got Otto Geddon 1, Stephen Hedger, David James, and Dr. Gomez 1. We got Francis Chambers, Cylon Hybrid, Grandpa Joe, my global head of marketing and communications is acting out his role here. Cheers, Fatacasters. You all know about John's Patreon with the holiday approaching. A great gift for yourself or an aspiring guitarist. Consider John's books loaded with info that you will use. Well, thank you very much, Joe. You make me blush, mate. Anyway, moving on. Terrible tickly throat to this today. I'll have to lubricate that as we go along. We got John Ross. There's Johnny Random, session guitar legend that is Gary Shaw. And then Paul Trainer. Every week, regular as clockwork, you can set your watch by him. He always chucks a couple of quid in the tip jar, and much appreciated it is too. Peter Hall is in all the way from the very wet Netherlands. Johnny D is there, so is Austin Barrett. We got Robin Fawcett, Chris Ottewell, who's in San Diego. I bet you're warmer than Redcar, mate. But anyways, back to Blighty next week. Where are we? Jimmy James, Thomas Mulvaney, Colin Falcon, and Rexomatic. Selling a 40-year-old K-Pro 2CP-M computer today. Means nothing to me, mate. But apparently, it's a 40-year-old computer and it still works. So he's selling it to a computer collector. I didn't know such people existed. Computer collector. Is it a vintage computer? Does it have a tone keyboard? Or, let's not get into that. Anyway, let's have a look. We've vid Barry Riches, Mott the Hoople, and what are you saying there, mate? Let's put you up on screen because it's easy for me to read. Happy Friday. Love the dotted eighth vid this week, John. A technique I've always struggled with a bit. As always, the good old JR playing English helped me out enormously. Thanks. You're very welcome, mate. Glad it was of use. I really didn't do that video. I'm thinking, well, I'm doing a series of videos on rhythm. That's more of a kind of an effects type video, but I did it anyway. I'm glad to know it landed well. We've got Raymondo L Rex, who's also chucked a couple of quid in, 3 quid as it happens, in the tip jar. Thank you so much, mate. And Moon's Guitars, Steve Cassidy Guitar. Don't forget Steve's video straight after this live stream. Just enough time to go and visit the used beer department and replenish your glass, and you can go and have a bit of prime time Friday entertainment with Steve's video. And we've got Ian Clark, John Channing, even. Excuse me, I'm breaking these teeth in for the dog. MW Card, Maidenman 74, and William Forrest. Frank Bolam is there, so is, let's have a look, Strumming Ronin, and Michael Cole. Michael very, very kindly sent me a book this week. Just turned up out of nowhere. The official biography of Gary Moore. I feel ashamed to say that I've got another Gary Moore. What's it? White Knuckles, The Life and Music of Gary Moore by Martin Power. And I've not read that one yet. Not because I haven't wanted to, just because I haven't had the time. But thank you. That's a very, very generous gift, Michael. Thank you so much. We've got Adrian Laws, Jay Aoyong. Cylon Hybrid is saying only coffee first thing in the morning. Stranger the better. I almost read that as. Yes, I can't get my eyes open without a bucket of caffeine either. Hello, who else have we got? A Life Mine is in, as is Mr. Chris. Francis Chambers is there. Triple Distilled. Johnny D is in as well. Who else have we got? Is that everyone? Have I mentioned everyone? Oh, Mr. Chris. A couple more quid in the tip jar. Have I missed any of these? Because I've been blethering a lot. Peter Williamson has chucked in the tip jar as well. Thank you so much, mate. You're being very generous these days. It's much appreciated, mate. And anyway, who else we got? I see we've got Anton there, and Michael Purcell and Russell Gibson, and Martin Scholes, and I believe that's everyone. If I've missed you out, it's not through anything other than just me being a bit of a plank. Let's clear the screen there, and let's get a little bit of lubrication going on, shall we? It's been an absolutely filthy day here today. Oh, rain on and off all day, Baltic cold, and just what my old dad always used to call a lazy wind. Can't be bothered going round you; it just goes straight through. And as I say, it's good drinking weather. I always find I'll have a few of these, and then probably by the end of the evening I'll be, I've got a cough, as you noticed, and you've got to have some medicine for a cough. I've got some Highland cough medicine that will probably, guarantee I get a decent night's sleep. Anyway, let's tell you what's coming up on the channel this week. You saw the first impressions, or maybe you didn't see, but if you did, you did. If you didn't, you didn't. But yesterday I did a video on the Universal Audio Lion pedal, a Marshall Plexi in pedal form, and Sunday, as is the convention when I do these Thursday first impressions, the Sunday video is always, I should say, just a little bit more of an in-depth look at said product, and that is what we're sticking to. So Sunday is the Lion pedal review, and then the Monday's video is one that got me a little bit annoyed, it has to be said. Not the video, but the way YouTube treat it. It's basically about blues. It's a double stops blues soloing kind of lesson. Just those kind of bluesy double stop kind of licks that everybody uses. And, I've been doing a few lessons on that with students, and that often informs my choice of what to do in a video. If something's kind of fresh in my mind and I've not covered it in a while, I'll think, I'll make a video on that. So I did. And then an improvised blues solo that I recorded as part of that video got copyright claimed. So, as Tier 2 Patreon members will know, that's another benefit of the Tier 2 Patreon. You get early access to my videos. There's I think I did one recently where I was talking about YouTube's ridiculous copyright, kind of shenanigans that they do, the copyright wombles. You improvise it over a 12-bar blues, and then they kind of take the money off you because you say you've stolen someone else's melody. Utterly piss-potical and ridiculous. Oh, I said a naughty word there, didn't I? Well, that's a gauge of how strong I feel about it. But anyway, let's not dwell on the negative. Let's talk about what's happening on Tuesday, which is something glorious, actually. It's a while since I've done one of these videos. It's a top 5 video where I'm talking about my guilty pleasures. The working title for the video was another top 5 cheesy 70s chart hits. I think I probably called it something a little bit more, kind of, I don't know, eloquent than that in the video title. I forget. I do these videos about, kind of about 6 weeks in advance, so I've forgotten what I've called it by the time it goes out. But yeah, essentially, 5 of my favourite ridiculously cheesy songs from my childhood in the 70s. And if you want to find out what they are, watch on Tuesday. Wednesday's video, it's another rhythm one, and it's sort of usually when there's a rhythm that gets used a lot. It's like, thinking of things like the clave rhythm that I did a video on not that long ago, or another rhythm would be something like, and drummers will know all about this one, the Purdy Shuffle, after Bernard Purdy. Whenever there's a rhythm that gets used extensively, it always seems to be given a name of some kind, but I couldn't find any name for the rhythm that I'm going to be talking about on Wednesday. But it is one that you'll hear in pretty much every rock and roll song, or any song which is even remotely rock and roll related, from say AC/DC to Buddy Holly to the Rolling Stones. They've all used this particular rhythm, and I can't find out what it's called. So if you could watch that Wednesday video, and if you happen to know what that rhythm that I'm going to be talking about in that video is called, let me know in the comments. Then Thursday's video, there's been a little bit of a change at Robson Towers, where especially in how I'm getting my guitar tone. I'm still using the Blue Guitar Amp 1, but I'm using different settings on it. And, it's a significant enough change in terms of the settings that I thought I'd tell you about it and give a little demo. And that's what we're doing on Thursday. And then after Thursday, it's Friday. And you know what happens on Friday? This is what happens on Friday. The first one never touches the sides, does it? Let's just recharge my flagon of ale. And everybody's going to type flake now, aren't they, in the comments? But I'm not just using this as an excuse, but this stainless steel liner in this tankard here does tend to inhibit the the big foamy 3-inch thick head. So where's my mouse gone? There it is, over there. My mouse was hiding behind the beer tankard. Let's have a look, see what has been going on in the chat since I've been blethering a little bit. Oh, Starlancer's in. Nice to see you, mate. Alaska Hope is there, and Bob Smith. Alaska Hope. I love you, John. Well, that's very kind of you, mate. Thank you. Yes, Balder64 is saying curry hits the spot. Is that for the... We're not having curry this weekend. We're not having curry. I know. You'll have to inform the UN or somebody that, that on the 14th of November, 2025, the Robson household didn't have a curry. No, it's basically we've got some chicken that needs using up. So, before it goes out of date. So I'm making fajitas instead. So, it's still kind of nice and spicy and everything. And the curry will stay in the freezer till next week. Austin Barrett says, I need a stainless gut. Top tip, room temperature lager will foam up nicely. Yes, but who wants room temperature lager? Schrodinger's flake. Let's have a look. Mr. Chris has ordered himself an Ibanez Gem. He did ask my opinion on it. And I did say lovely guitar, but not really my cup of tea. I don't like those kind of skinny, shreddy kind of necks. I certainly don't like Floyd Rose. And hot, high output ceramic pickups aren't my cup of tea either. But if it floats your boat, mate, then go for it. Vincent Brennan is saying, John, have you booked your tickets for the Classic Rock Show? I've seen them twice, mate. I've seen them twice. I'm not sure I'm in that much of a hurry to see them again. And not to put too fine a point on it, because we don't have transport, it can be a little bit of a ball ache to get to the gig. And then we've got to find a dog sitter because you simply cannot leave Dougal alone in the house. So we shall see, and I've seen them twice, and they were absolutely fantastic each time. I don't know. I mean, I always kind of recommend people to go and see the Classic Rock Show because they are absolutely epic. One of, if not the best couple of gigs I've ever been to. But I've scratched that itch twice, and and you get to a certain age, don't you, where you think, I've got to leave the house on a night. I've got to put some smart clothes on, and I've got to have a wash and a shave and go out. And it's just, you just get to a certain age. Well, I certainly have, where that is like, that's not a tick in the plus column. Do you know what I'm saying? So we shall see, but I wouldn't bank on it, mate. Anton is saying, I'm wanting a Jazzmaster, but generally dislike offset guitars. Is this due to the weather or an age-related problem? Oh, mate, you're not hitting the male menopause, are you? A Jazzmaster. Oh, dear me, that's kryptonite to me. I won't go into the whys, but I just find them ugly-looking guitars. Apologies to anybody that owns a Jazzmaster and loves it, but I think Fender offset guitars, when you consider how graceful the Stratocaster is, it's kind of the epitome of 1950s kind of American cool, isn't it? It's like the sort of the guitar equivalent of tail fins and and those big kind of American cars. And the Telecaster shape, it's kind of brutalist and functional, but still a very pretty guitar, I think. But the Jazzmaster just, I don't know. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder, I suppose, and it's not there with me when it comes to Jazzmasters, I'm afraid. I might have mentioned this once or twice before. Cylon Hybrid is saying, have you got any smart clothes? That is a serious question, mate. I own one pair of trousers that aren't jogging bottoms, and I actually don't think I've got a shirt with a collar anymore. I live in T-shirts and jogging bottoms, and last year I had a day out at the races on Boxing Day. For international viewers, that is the day after Christmas Day. And you look at the dress code for the race course and it said no jogging bottoms, so I had to buy a pair of trousers. But I still just went in a T-shirt. Well, not just a T-shirt, I had a coat on over the top. It was December the 26th, for God's sake. But if I had to go to a funeral or something now, I'd have to hire a suit. And what else have I missed? Johnny D is saying, not a wonky guitar fan either, and those horrible slide switches that look like a transistor radio. Sorry to all who love. Yeah, again, I'll second that, mate. Bob Smith takes the opposite view, is saying Jazzmaster. Great guitar, very comfy, just sits in the lap, just may need some setting up shims and such. Fair enough, mate. As I always say, if it floats your boat, then I'm not going to judge you any badly for that. Well, I can't say, can't get me words out. But you know, if that's your thing, fair enough. You know, I had a chat with probably over a year or so back with Jim from Audiomo Music, and his pet hate is SGs. You know, he was quite vocal on the point that, you know, he just kind of thinks it's a stupid looking guitar, whereas I kind of think it's quite charming looking. But there you go. Balder, I'm going to have to put that up on screen, mate. There's only 3 remaining dry docks in the UK that could float John Robson guitarist's boat. Yes. By the time I was 12 or 13 years old, I was an inch taller than me dad. And he used to call me, say, you big lanky bugger. He said you'd stand a week after you were shot. Victory House is saying, will that be the Bo Diddley rhythm? Dumpty dumpty dum dum dum. No, that is the Sun Clave 3-2 rhythm, and I did a video on that very recently. No, the rock and roll rhythm that I'm talking about, well, I'm not plugged in here, but you'll probably be able to hear this. So if you've got a beat that's going 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and there's your beat. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. It's the rhythm that goes like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. That rhythm there. I have no idea what it's called, so I'm doing a video on it. You know, on Wednesday. Johnny Random saying, "My lad's taller than me." Austin Barrett, I've ordered a Pearson Hyper B after seeing Steve Cassidy guitar. Yeah, that sort of, it almost looks like a production model of the Malcolm Spillett Ferrocaster, if you remember that video from, ages ago, which is a guitar made by it's just wrought iron. You know, I suppose it might be somebody's dream guitar and their main instrument. But for me, I don't know, it's like those Enya guitars, those carbon fiber plastic kind of things everybody raves about with the built-in effects and little practice amp and everything. You know, it just kind of looks and feels and, you know, kind of gives off a novelty vibe for me. And, you know, and it just, if it were £100, you know, then I'd spend £100 on a novelty guitar, but, you know, I wouldn't spend the price that they're asking on on Enya or those kind of ironmongery kind of things that I thought was Pearson, isn't it? I almost said Peterson then, but that's tuners. Rexomatic is saying, I changed my view of SGs dramatically when I picked up a new SG special in Bozeman, Montana. What a wonderful guitar. Yeah, I mean, the last couple of SGs I've had in here, the one thing everybody says about them is neck dive, that, you know, the headstock plummets towards the floor. But, you know, admittedly, maybe on a strap they do, but the ones that I've played in here have balanced really nicely for sitting down. The Lamb is among us. Nice to see you there, mate. And Dave Snack Stevens as well. It's a Delamitri rhythm, always the last to know. I know. Yeah, it is, actually. It is used on that song, but it's also used on the Rolling Stones. It's only rock and roll. You know, so I don't know. Well, I do know. the Stones song was well before the Delamitri song. Yeah. What happened to Delamitri? They were like huge and then just kind of vanished like that. They're probably still around kind of doing, you know, some kind of nostalgia circuit or anything like that. But I don't know if are they still kind of putting out new material? You know, now there might be an idea to because I still do solo analysis videos on Patreon every month. I've got to think of one to do for well, no, 14th of November. I've got to think of what I'm going to do for the December Patreon lesson. So it might be a Delamitri one. Pablo Hank is saying, yes, Delamitri are still going. So nice. I'll have to see what they're up to these days. What else have I missed in the chat? Johnny Random saw Adam Ant at a festival he worked at. Really surprised me. He was really good. Yeah. It doesn't surprise me because you go back and you listen to some old Adam and the Ants songs, and, you know, it was just sort of disposable pop from the early 80s, wasn't it, at the time? You know, Prince Charming and Stand and Deliver and, you know, Goody Two Shoes and any others I can't remember. But you listen to them now and you think this is just well-crafted, well-produced pop music of the like that we don't see these days, you know. Well, I don't know. Maybe we do, but I stopped paying attention to the charts at some point in the early 90s. Anyway, shall we have a little bit of a look at some guitar pictures? I've made sure that my Dropbox folders are synced properly today, and we've got a doozy to kick off with, which is also, I wasn't sure whether to put this in with the viewers' tales or with the viewers' guitars picks, but given that it's a viewer's guitar in the picture, I thought we'll do it as a viewer's guitar pick. So here it is. I'm sorry, I need to open that with a different thing, otherwise I can't scroll through them. Bear with me just a second. I need to open that with that. Right, now I will share the screen. Where are we? I do apologise. It's tough at the top. Right, here we go. I've got it sorted now. I should get one of those little things to go up that says technical difficulties. So this is it. This is Tom Clark. And there you can see he is with the venerable Albert Lee. He says, I got a pic with Albert Lee holding my absolute favourite guitar and he loved it. He asked me why I'd use DiMarzio pickups. I told him I preferred them to Seymour's. The guitar had a lot of money spent on it and I got it for a steal years ago, £850 with over £400 spent on it. I have the receipts to prove it. This was when Albert Lee performed at the Boom Boom Club, Sutton in Surrey. He asked me if I wanted him to sign it. But don't we say daft things when we've had a beer or two in the past our lips? I said, no, I don't want it spoiled. Surprisingly, he agreed and grinned. Yeah, I can vouch for what a nice guy Albert Lee is. He bought me a pint once. I've probably told that story, but I won't bore you with it again. Lovely looking guitar. Yeah, just, and what a player Albert is. This is a guitar which is currently residing right here at Robson Towers. It's been donated by Gary Shaw for me to send on to Zoe's place. It's a nice, what is it? Is this the one you've sent me, Gary, or not? But this is a nice classical guitar that he's the proud owner of, and I did debate doing a video with the classical guitar that Gary sent me, which I can't remember if it's this one or another one, but you know, classical guitar. Not really my forte. It would be like me trying to do a review of a hairdryer. So anyway, this is another one from Malcolm Spillett's collection, a recent arrival. This is a Nouveau by Gibson, which is not a particular brand I've ever heard of. But you can see at the top there, just slightly out the frame, Nouveau, and you can see Gibson there. Anyone know anything about those? Feel free to put it in the chat. Lovely looking guitar, like, isn't it? Looks sort of kind of quite J200-ish, doesn't it? Then Rent to Kill's 2019 Player Strat. Upgraded Fender 59 pickups and roller saddles. Very, very similar to the Player Series Strat that I had about 5 years ago. Yeah, it was a nice guitar if you like Strats. And, well, let's not go there, but shall we say, that's not front and centre of my world. But that's a lovely looking guitar. I do like a nice Strat in sunburst. I prefer a sunburst on a Strat to like a solid colour, unless it's red, because then that's a Hank Marvin colour. But that's a beautiful looking instrument. Congratulations, mate. Then Rent to Kill. There is the man behind the moniker, and he sat there with a load of amps. These are amps that he's won on Agrajag raffles. I love your choice of T-shirt there, mate. Nice one. Gosh, that photo looks rather familiar. Glasses, bald head, and a certain T-shirt. Were we separated at birth? Who knows? Then possibly the weirdest guitar I've seen this side of last Christmas. This is Rexomatic's Eastwood LG 150. Yes, Eastwood have a kind of a thing for building oddball guitars, aren't they? Do you remember that sort of? I can't remember what it was called, but ages ago I did a video on it where it was like a melted Stratocaster kind of shape. Oh, that looks a bit like a melted Stratocaster, but even more kind of Salvador Dali looking than that one. Yeah. It's striking, isn't it? And it's got a look, and that is something that's you could never accuse somebody who designed that guitar of not having an imagination and going for something bland, could you? Yes, it's certainly making a statement. And here's Steve Echo's guitar, Gordon Smith Telly. Steve used to have lessons off me years ago. And he still drops into the chat every now and again. And last time I spoke to him, he just got himself a Gordon Smith custom-built HSS Strat. He's obviously gone back for more. This is his custom-built Gordon Smith Telly. Look at the figuring on that neck there, on the headstock that you can see. That is utterly, utterly beautiful. Beautiful looking guitar, mate. Congratulations. Must be your pride and joy. Then a pair of couple more guitars from Tom Clark. These are his Epiphone Korean Explorers. One of them you can see is in a slight state of undress. I think Tom did mention in the video that there's some work being done on that one. But I often say that when you kind of picture a particular model of guitar in your head, there's a certain look and a certain colour and a certain vibe, and you say Explorer, it's that sort of Carina kind of blonde looking thing that I always picture. Really, really classy looking guitars. As you know, I had an Explorer in here recently, and I took to it rather a lot. Lovely guitar, very versatile and very comfortable to play. More comfortable than all of the points and the horns and everything would lead you to believe. Another Tom Clark guitar. Oh yes, Road Worn Strat. Yes, you either like relicking or you don't, and you know my thoughts on that. But nice looking guitar all the same, with that, again, with that sunburst finish. Looks a lot like the Eric Clapton Brownie guitar. Everyone knows about Blackie, the famous mongrel Strat parts caster that he put together. But Brownie is the guitar that he played on Layla, and that looks a lot like it. Yeah, and it would look better if it was if it didn't look like it had spent 40 years in a peat bog. But no, sorry, I'm being unkind there. I don't like relicking, but each to their own, as they say. And the continuing saga of Tonne's studio build. Tonne is a Scandinavian chap who joins us on the Patreon Tier 2 chat every Tuesday, and we've been following the saga of his studio build, and this is it in its finished condition. Yes, that looks like it's going to be a place where a lot of happy noise is made, doesn't it? Yes. I want to hear some examples of the sound that comes out of there, Tony, if you don't mind, at some point. That'd be great. And that's your lot for this week. That is this week's Viewers Guitars. If you have any pictures of guitars that you want to see on the channel, just ping them over. Just send me a link. Not a link, a picture, rather. Sorry. Again, it's Friday. It's been a long week. The cold's got to me brain. Right, we've got a guitar to unbox. Shall we get on with that? I did say live beer drinking and guitar unboxing. Let's. This is a guitar that PFY Guitars popped round with yesterday. This doesn't belong to me. It's his guitar. And he won it in one of those guitar giveaway raffles. And said, would I like to have a try of it? So, of course, I said yes. So let's just get rid of all of the packing materials first. And there we go. I'm going to have to tidy up in here in the morning before my first lesson. Vacuuming with a hangover. There's that'll wake you up. Right. They didn't skimp on packaging, did they? But I think that's pretty much it. And in here we have a case. And what's in the case? Well, if I turn it the other way around, you'll know what's in the case, but I'm going to not do that because I want it to be a big reveal. I've never seen one of these particular guitars in the flesh myself, although I did do a review of a Harley Benton version of said guitar not that long ago. Well, let's get the condom off. There we go. Stuff that in there. And there's some paper around the strings. So what can you tell already? Well, it's got a red neck. Can you think of any, kind of famous guitars that come in any colour you want as long as it's red? Can you think of any of those? You're probably getting a bit of an idea now. Here we have it, ladies and gentlemen. Brian May Red Special. Not the Red Special, but a Brian May Red Special. Right the way down to 0 fret and everything. Now, what's the scale length on these? Where's my tape measure? Because this feels... I've heard that these are like a Mustang scale length, 24 inches. Yeah, blob on, 24 inches. I was expecting this to feel, just in initial impressions, it was going to feel a bit sort of dinky and kind of like a 3/4 size guitar, like, the Fender Bullet Mustangs that were out a few years ago. I had one of those briefly. Got donated to Zoe's place. I was expecting it to feel small and claustrophobic like that, but this one just doesn't. I tell you what, it is a nice looking thing. I know PFY Guitars does his own setups and builds his own guitars as well. He keeps threatening to bring one of those down for me to have a crack at. God, it plays like butter. Honestly, there's absolutely nothing there. In terms of the action, it's effortless. I'm going to have some fun with this. I've just got to think of a suitable, Brian May kind of tune to do with this. Or maybe I should do like a Mark Knopfler type tune on this guitar just to throw everybody off, because I bet you will be able to get some kind of stratty tone out of this. So we've got Wilkinson trem, all of the trick switching there for that Brian May is known for. These are made in Korea, and yeah, lovely looking thing. I'm going to have some fun with this. Let's put this up somewhere safe. And there we go. We'll keep it in the background. Lovely looking thing. Thank you so much, PFY Guitars, for your generous loan of that guitar. I'm going to have a lot of fun with that one. A guitar that, I mean, ever since, seeing Queen on Top of the Pops when I was a kid, I was always aware that nobody else played a guitar that looked like the one played by the bloke from Queen. You could tell that, that guitar there looks like the guitar that the bloke in the last band was playing, but nobody's ever looked like Brian May's. That's a lovely looking thing. Can't wait to. Is there a sixpence in the case? Says Maiden Man Guitars. No, I did do a video where I years ago where I was trying the different types of pick between kind of. I think I did nylon and plastic, and I think I did a coin as a pick as well to see if there was any such thing as a different type of tone from each pick. Guess what? There isn't. Anyway, let's have some more drink. A couple of things, because I've got a list here. So, yes, we've done the unboxing. I've mentioned the very generous book. A couple of things else I need to just get off my chest. Don't forget that the jam competition is still open. I'm holding it open till the end of the month. So you've got a couple of more weeks if you are not sure what I'm talking about. I did a video a few weeks ago, well, longer than that now, where I put out a backing track and said, send me your interpretations of a jam over the top of this backing track. And I was going to shut the competition down, a couple of weeks ago. Then I realised there's a video that's uploaded and it's going to be going out in a couple of weeks or so, whenever, that is all about, here's some tips for playing over that backing track. So I just thought, well, yeah, best keep the competition open so people can make use of that video. So I've put the link to the video in the chat there. The other thing I'm going to put in the chat is, don't forget, I'm running a fundraiser to buy a Fender Ultra 2 Strat, which will get donated to Zoe's place after I've given it a once over here. I'll put the link to that in the chat. That one's kind of sort of grinding to a bit of a halt, actually, which it is what it is. I understand people are, having to be a little bit more careful with their spending and donations lately. So that's just, it is what it is. So no worries about that. But there is some funds in that fundraiser. I'm going to give it till Christmas, and if there's nowhere near the appropriate funds available to buy the Strat, then I'll just donate that money directly to Zoe's place so that they can make some kind of use of it. So your money is, going to be going to a worthy cause. Either I'm going to get a nice video out of it and Zoe's place will get a nice guitar that they can sell to raise funds, or the money will just go to Zoe's place. Let's have a look, see what I've missed in the chat. Then we're going to have a viewer's tale. Malcolm Spillett is saying, I actually have 2 old sixpences that I've tried playing my Brian May with, but no difference. Yes. Lamb, what you saying there, mate? Nothing quite sounds like the Trisonics, though, even though they were kind of badly made. I think Brian potted his. Yes, I'm sure I've seen that in in various interviews that he's given about the guitar in the past, probably on one of those rig rundown videos. Steve Cassidy is saying that would be a great vid, trying to get the tones of other classic guitar archetypes with the Red Special. Yeah, I think the Red Special, I mean, it's just having played it there, it is a lovely looking guitar, but it's one of those signature guitars that hasn't really, to my knowledge at least, kind of gone beyond the Brian May fan community, if you know what I mean. You'll get people who will play probably the first signature model guitar was one of these, wasn't it? But you get people who play other signature model guitars that, like the Ibanez 7-string universe thing, anybody that wanted a 7-string guitar for a while, that was all that was available. And, not everybody who bought one of those was necessarily a Steve Vai acolyte. But the Brian May guitar is very much a niche guitar for Brian May fans. It would be nice to see if it could reach beyond that. I'm sure it can. The Lamb is saying, let's put you up on screen, mate. The other unique thing about Brian's guitar is the tremolo. It's a long way behind the bridge. The springs are very stiff, but with a huge 6-inch tremolo arm gives Brian a lot of leverage. Isn't it sort of powered by an old valve spring from a motorcycle engine? I seem to remember hearing that at some point. Obviously, they just went for an off-the-shelf Wilkinson trem there. I'm looking forward to trying that guitar. Really, it's nicer in the flesh than what you're saying there, Jay. How young? With the Strat in the background, it looks like it has many tuning pegs sticking out at jaunty angles. Yeah, I suppose you're right, mate. Let's just there. It doesn't kind of look superimposed now, does it? Anyway, let's have a wee look. What else have we got to talk about before we do the viewers' tales? Budget Pedal Chap is saying there's definitely a difference in tone on the pick attack when you play with a coin versus a plec. I didn't notice that, mate. I got to be honest with you. I didn't. That wasn't something. It's one of those things, I think, that we notice it in the room because we're hearing like the acoustic kind of characteristics of the electric guitar in the room. But when I listen to the recorded, kind of comparisons back, there was virtually no difference at all, to be honest. Johnny Random saying, isn't the trem Brian's dad made like a Vega trem? Well, it has, I think, that knife edge kind of thing going on, possibly. But the trem that really is like the Vega trem is the one that my old pal, sadly no longer with us, Jim Cairns, used to build on his guitars. It's pretty much identical to a Vega trem. And, he could have patented that and retired to the foothills of a huge pile of money. But he was just Jim. That just wasn't Jim. He would just he was happy enough in his little workshop, just serving the local guitar community. And sad loss since he's no longer here. Anyway, let's go and have a look at a viewer's tale. What have we got this week? This one comes from Len McIver. He says, another nobody famous story from the 70s. Well, mainly playing in the folkish sort of thing that was popular at the time, acts from Oban, which is a lovely place in Scotland, I've been there, would swap gigs with Edinburgh acts. We knew our way around the Edinburgh folk scene. However, not having been there for some time, to our surprise, most of the afternoon pub sessions music had been replaced with strippers. Most of the girls brought their own backing track via boom boxes, but some relied on selecting tracks from the pub's jukebox. All went well this particular afternoon until a jukebox developed a mind of its own. Not the tracks the girl had selected, but the first two weren't bad for purpose. Then the climax of the act, all due to be revealed, the jukebox struck Roaming in the Gloaming by Bing Crosby and Rosemary Clooney. She persevered as best she could, but about halfway through she had to give up. Utterly ended and still not as nature intended. Well, it's only rock and roll, but yes, that's was it last week I told the story of the gig I did where we had where we booked to play with a stripper and the stripper didn't turn up, and yes, and the red-blooded male audience took their frustrations out on us poor musos up on stage. Let's have a look. What else have we got to have a yabber about? Let's scroll up, see if there's anything profound that I've missed. I don't know if you can hear that, but the wind outside is absolutely wild. Um, Tom Clark is saying Hello Kitty is a true signature guitar. Really, I know of Hello Kitty. It's a kids thing, isn't it? You know, that's about as much as I know. I can absolutely guarantee that there will be a jazz master in this room. There will be a guitar with a Floyd Rose in this room. There will be a jazz master with a Floyd Rose in this room before there'll be a Hello Kitty guitar. Bank on it. Chris Otterwell's saying, I restored a Red Special a few years ago. Decent guitar now. Yep. Do you remember, didn't Guild used to make a version of that? Oh, gosh, back in the late 80s, early 90s. This is certainly, this current incarnation of Brian's guitars is not, the first time he's done it. I definitely remember there was a Guild version of it that didn't really kind of last very long. I think I remember at a jam night one night back in about 1990 or thereabouts. I remember having a few beers and a conversation with a chap who said he'd got one, but he hadn't brought it out to the jam night because it didn't leave the house. It was his pride and joy, so he brought his Squire Strat. What else have we got there that I've missed? Johnny Random borrowed a Red Special once. Didn't like the neck, too chunky for me. I've got to tell you, Steve Cassidy saying, does it come with a perm? Here's the thing, Steve Cassidy, Brian May and his missus, Anita Dobson. Have you noticed that you never see both of them together without one of them wearing a hat? Is it the same hair? That's something an old drummer pal of mine always used to say, and I just thought I'd get it out of the box there. When it comes to the neck on a guitar, I'm very, very, very tolerant. The only thing I can't get along with is like a really skinny kind of Ibanez Wizard kind of shreddy 80s neck. I can play on it, but the thing is, after I've been playing it for like an hour, my hand starts to kind of feel really tired and fatigued and like I'm risking tendinitis or something. I used to feel the same way about the vintage radius Fender necks, the 7¼ inch radius fretboards on those. But I don't know. I played one of those. A couple of years ago now. I think it was a 60th anniversary Telecaster that was very kindly loaned to me. And, that had like the real proper heavily cambered fretboard, and it just wasn't an issue anymore. I remember at the time thinking, I used to hate necks like this. But as in many things, I've grown more tolerant with the passing years. Yes. There's probably a few people who know me who are shouting at the screen now, kind of calling me a bloody liar after saying that. But certainly in terms of guitar necks, I've I've mellowed a little bit. I still can't get on with. Although it's been a while since I've tried one. It has been a while since I've tried a skinny 80s shredders neck. Maybe I should kind of look into that. Might be worth. Might get a video out of it. Merrick is saying, hi John, what's your choice from Jet guitars? Anything, mate. I had a beautiful JT350 in here that recently left Robson Towers as basically part of the effort to pay for this guitar, which regular viewers will know that's a guitar I had built by Agrajag. That was a beautiful guitar. They feel like boutique instruments. The first time I ever played a guitar where I picked it up and I thought, oh dear me, this feels luxurious and expensive, and you can tell where the money's been spent, was on a carving guitar that's getting on for 7 years ago. I played that. It was loaned to me by a student, and I think, this does feel, it's like the difference between stepping into a Ford Fiesta and stepping into a Rolls Royce. It just felt, yes, you can tell where the money's been spent. You get that feeling from Jet guitars. You really do. The JT 350 is a great guitar. I had another one. What's the entry level Strat version that they do? Is it the JS 300? Possibly. I had one of those briefly. Just the necks on them feel utterly divine. And that's not just me saying that. Phil McKnight reviewed one earlier this week, if you've not seen that video. But just, whatever is your particular favourite flavour of guitar, Strat or Tele or Super Strat or anything like that, go and get the Jet version of that, and I promise you, will not be disappointed. They are modding platforms. You're probably going to need to upgrade the pots and the pickups. And, if it's a Strat and with a trem, if it doesn't already have them put some roller trees on it. But, well worth the investment. Jay Aoyong is saying that McKnight fella has been extolling the virtues of Jet guitars, says they're almost comparable with Suhrs. Nearly, mate. I saw the video earlier today. And he's saying that they're kind of virtually, but not quite, comparable to a brand called Rasmus, which was the import, kind of made overseas version of the Suhr. But with a few relatively easy to do and cheap mods, you can certainly get a Jet feeling like that kind of £3,000-4,000 guitar, which is why I ended up having stainless steel frets put in my Jet, because that's, once you get addicted to stainless steel frets, it does cure you of gas. You find yourself not really looking at kind of guitars that don't have them, because you think, well, yeah, but it hasn't got stainless frets. I know not everybody feels that way about them, but, as I said earlier, each to their own. Steve Cassidy is saying, I asked head honcho Jetman about stainless steel frets. They're not super warm to the idea. Well, I think personally that is the way that the industry is going. If you're the only budget brand left not offering stainless steel frets, and that's not the case at the moment, but as things kind of march on, if it gets to the point where you are the only brand not offering stainless steel frets on your guitars, and all of your competitors are, and your guitars cost the same as them, I think market forces will kind of paint them into a little bit of a corner, possibly. I'm thinking of, back in the early 90s when a £200 guitar meant you were buying a lump of plywood. Squire Strats made of plywood, Encore E76 made of plywood, Tanglewood. You name any budget guitar from the early 90s, 200 quid or under, it was made of plywood. And then along comes the Yamaha Pacifica for $199.99, made of not plywood. I think it was it alder or poplar or something, but certainly it was a non-plywood guitar. And within a couple of years, if less, all £200 guitars suddenly weren't using plywood anymore. So I think that might be a similar thing that's going to happen, as we go forward. Anyway, chaps, 59 minutes plus change in. So I've got some fajitas to go and make. So I'm going to love you and leave you and say once again, thank you each and every one of you for turning up and watching a fat, bald northern lad talk absolute bollocks for an hour. It's been a blast, and I'll keep on doing it till you're sick of me. But for now, time, gentlemen, please.